We are going to go to Jefferson Parish, where officials, Parish President Cynthia Lee Shang is speaking about what they're doing to prepare right now. So let's listen in.
See the need to close any parish government offices. I know I just got an update from my child's school. It appears they're still open.
Yes.
Although we're anticipating some pretty heavy rain.
So as of now, we're open tomorrow. You know, we're open as the day goes on, and if there's any major changes, we can make a different decision. Again, what we do in these situations is try to be as nimble, as flexible as possible, right? None of these things are certain, and you always have to just kind of prepare for whatever comes your way. But right as of now, we plan to be open in government tomorrow.
So what exactly is the expectation of what you are expecting to get here in Jefferson Parish in terms of rainfall, wind, tide? What are you planning for?
So we are on the National Weather Service calls. Obviously, they give those inches of precipitation, rainfall, that kind of thing. And I'm not a meteorologist, so I don't like saying it, and it changes so frequently, so I don't like actually quoting those numbers. But what we hear time and time again is this is going to be a heavy rainfall event. Obviously, that's a heavy flooding event. The different hazards comes our way, and that is what consistently is with this storm, is going to be a rainfall event, and obviously that means a flooding event for us, potential flooding event for us.
And so talk about what you have out on the street right now and what you intend to have out on the street during the storm.
Right. So right now, when we get to storms right now, our public works teams, they just set to it, whether it's pre-positioning assets, whether it's making sure all the extra fuel that we have for generators, you know, on a water system, on a sewer system, they all know the routine and they all really try to get ready. Again, I'll go back to what the citizen can do, right? We need to be weather aware, is what we all say. We don't drive on flooded streets. And as sophisticated as the drainage department is, it starts with the catch basin in front of your house. So if that's clogged up with leaves, the drainage system is not going to be able to work to the capacity that it's designed because it's clogged up with leaves. So clean your catch basin in front of your house. That is your first defense to protecting your home. And make sure you don't take those leaves and put it in the drainage system, that you take it out and you throw that away. And that's what's very, very critical to getting the drainage system to work for you. What we see on these storms and what we are concerned about is that we have a system that hovers over us for a long period of time and just stays on top of us, slow moving, produces a lot of rain. That's the situations we don't like. That's the situations where it's a timing. It's like a timing thing of whether our drainage capacity can keep up with what the rainfall is. So we hope that it moves through quickly, and that our drainage system is going to be able to keep up with the pumping capacity.
I know messaging is very critical, and it's a fine line between wanting to make sure that people are prepared but not scared.
Yes.
And seeing just social media chatter, it seems like a lot of people are sort of blowing this off, writing this storm off. What do you want residents to know moving forward?
If I was somewhere else in the country, I'd say where we are as a people, we're used to this, right? We're used to paying attention. We're used to dialing into credible sources and looking at this. And it's the same, I would say, to families and citizens and businesses as we prepare for in emergency management. You always prepare for the worst. You pay attention. If you don't need that kind of capacity, you don't need all those resources, you're a little bit more prepared for the next time. But you can't live in this area having a storm coming through. We know these things can change very quickly on us. And we just have to be very flexible and nimble in our strategies. And that's the same thing that I would say to any families as well. And look, I mean, we plan to be open in government tomorrow, but I don't expect any employee to take additional risks or lose a car or anything like that. So if we get localized flooding in your neighborhood, I expect our employees to call us and say, hey, I can't get to work today. And businesses should be, as well as we in government and employers should be understanding of that, you know. So at this time, the way the weather's coming in, we don't feel like we need to close government. Closing government's a big deal because we give a lot of services to our citizens, and we don't really like to close those services if we don't have to. So at this time, we don't think we need to. But of course, I don't want our employees to be in danger anyway. And just because it's localized flooding in one area of the parish doesn't mean it's going to be that way in other areas of the parish. So that's the flexibility and the nimbleness that I think everybody has to have.
What's your expectation in Lower Jefferson? Generally, when you see a storm coming up through the Gulf, that's where you really kind of pinpoint, because usually the bullseye, right? Mm-hmm. But in terms of this storm, in talking with Mayor Commodell, his thinking was that they may be spared the brunt that may go north of them. So what are you thinking here in EOC?
So really, the lower Jefferson area is outside the levee protection system, and certainly in the lower lying areas is Grand Isle storm surge is the thing that you're most concerned about. It's the hazard that is the most dangerous and the most life-threatening. And all the models are saying that is not one of the top hazards that we would be looking at in this storm, storm surge threats. Obviously, it's there, but it's not as big of a threat as the rainfall and the flooding. And of course, every storm's different and produces different hazards. But I'm less concerned about that from the forecast that we're getting.
You're expecting 1 to 3 foot tides?
I don't have the numbers right in front of me. Yeah, is it 1 to 3 foot tides? Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
So that's manageable for people that live down there, that they're not going to
Yes.
get stuck.
Yes,
right?
and we're not doing any kind of evacuation orders or anything like that.
Is there anything else that you
No.
really want residents to know? Signing up for alerts.
Yeah. So we want to text JP Alert to 888-777. Again, the EOC number is 504-349-5360. Life-threatening, you call 911. And look, stay with your credible media sources, because we know social media can really say some things that it's great in one way, but also it's not always accurate. So I think it's critical in an emergency, in a weather event, that you pay attention to your credible news sources and our official JP government channels.
Yeah. Are you also planning, because as you well know, in any rain ban that is associated with a tropical storm, there is the potential for damaging thunderstorms, the potential for tornadoes, the potential for, rapid rain coming down, like 10 inches of rain in an hour. I mean, obviously that's things that you plan for, but you're not expecting, right?
Right. No, I mean, that's what we have to plan for it. We all know a storm's coming in, anything could happen, honestly. We could have a high wind burst if that's not the highest threat that we're expecting. Obviously, it's a storm coming in, and it produces wind. So absolutely, and that's why we will be open 24/7 with our EOC. I just had a meeting with our own teams. I had a broader meeting with almost 200 people, our related departments and our partner agencies. So making sure that all our partners, we've reached out to all the medical facilities, we've touched base with all our municipalities, and this is the things that we do for every storm. So the good thing is, I tell my team, hopefully this is not a bad one for us, and this helps get us going in terms of our patterns for a storm season. And if it does have a lot of incidents that we have to respond to, we're ready for that.
And obviously you don't want people driving around in the storm.
Absolutely. We do not want people driving around the storm. And if you can stay home, if it starts getting a lot of rainwater and flooded streets, we do ask you to stay home. Yeah.
And in terms of a parish ordinance, people driving down flooded roads could face a penalty.
Absolutely. You are not allowed. There is a regulation on the books that you cannot drive quickly down a street, cause a wake, and then ruin people's homes. There is a regulation on the books about that, prohibiting that. Thank you.